Hey everyone, it's Tyler. I was a part of Team Phantom Star Nature's Requiem, and we got second place at the Spring Fest in Newark for V Premium. I was the player who played Leopold, and I'm going to show you my deck today. So, starting off, we have the Grade Zero. I played a different Grade Zero. I played Jet Ink Fox, but this card just has a better design, in my opinion. It doesn't really matter what starter you use. It's your preference, but obviously it has to be the one that allows you to draw a card when it's run upon. Alright. Next, I have the big boy himself, School Punisher Leopold Reverse. This card is absolutely insane. It allows you to lock a Leopold's rear guard in order to, when the cards are discarded from your deck, they are counted as all card types. And then his other skill is if you discard a top card of the deck by paying a counterblast, you can activate 3 separate abilities since you locked that Leopold rear guard. Absolutely crazy. Have to run this at 4. One of the best cards in the deck. This is my preference, but I also play 4 School Hunters Leopold. Some people I see are playing 3 or 4. I choose to run 4 because you always need to see this guy or the other Leopold in order to lock him. He's just fodder. As long as he's in your hand, then you're set. Next, I play 3 Magic Scientist Tester Fox. This card is also incredible on the deck. So he gets to return triggers to your deck, absolutely insane, and then you shuffle the deck after you use his skill with Leopold. So he's already getting you triggers, and then his second ability is if you Soul Blast 1 and give a rearguard 10k, at the end of the turn it's retired, and then it's a synergy with the card that I'm going to discuss later in the Grade 2s. He's absolutely incredible. Love this guy. We also have the Heal Guardians. I run 4 of them. They're so good early game because you could search them out very easily with your searchers, and they just allow you to guard very defensively, and it just works great. Alright, so now for my Grade 2s, I play the MVP of this deck, Blusher Parakeet. You run him at 4, you have to run him at 4, in my opinion. When he's placed, you get to look at the top 7 cards of the deck and add a Grade 3 to hand, and if he's on a rear guard, he gets retired. So your opponent can't interfere with him at all, so he's great. And also, it's so easy to get him out and then search your pieces. One of the best cards in the deck. Can't say enough about him. I also play 3 Illusion Scientist Researcher Fox. This card, when a card is discarded from your deck while he's on the additional rear guard, he gains 5,000. Already amazing. He's a barcode zebra, but his skill is even better, because when he's retired from rear guard by your ability, you counterblast 1 and search your deck for a card with the same name as your Vanguard. So, like for example, it works so well with Tester Fox, because let's say you have them both on the field. When you use Tester Fox at the end of the turn, Researcher Fox will get retired, and then you could search your deck for a Leopold Reverse if he's on Vanguard. This card is really good, and he can also be cycled back into the deck with Tester Fox. Such a good card. All of the cards in this deck are actually crazy, but, you know. This is a little controversial, but I do play 2 Binoculus Tiger. I've seen actually a lot of people play more than 2. I see people usually playing 3 or 4. What I found is that you can easily search this out with Leopold Reverse's skill. It doesn't really matter. As long as he's in your hand or still in your deck, he's a great source for removal, and you don't need to run that many. Because he also costs Counterblast, which this deck heavily relies on Counterblasts. So if you use him over and over again, at the end of the day, you're not going to have enough Counterblasts left, and you're not going to be able to do your plays. That's why I only run him at 2, because he doesn't really need to be used that much. I've only really used him like 3 times in the tournament. I also play 2 Geograph Giant. This card is amazing if you have no alternatives to having Researcher Fox. He gains 8k while he's on an additional rearguard circle. He's also the best boy. Who can really say? He's the best boy. I love him. Alright, now for the Grade 1s. I play 4 Affiliated Lemur. This card is also an absolute necessity in the deck. because when he's placed, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you discard the top card of the deck and perform one of the following actions. It doesn't really matter, as long as you have Leopold Reverse as your Vanguard, you can choose to either Soul Charge 1 or Counter Charge. You can't do both. But usually, you only want to counter charge because this card is the only card you can use to counter charge with, and it's essential to have this card because you run through all your counter bluffs way too easily. I also play 4 Mini Belly. Mini Belly is also a great card to have in your deck. Great for early game, because if you call him from hand, you can search the top 5, add a grade 3 to hand, and then discard a card from your hand. So that's already another way to search for your pieces. This card is also great because he adds an additional 5,000 if you have a rear guard on an additional rear guard circle. So, like, if you have the Researcher Fox on your additional, when you boost with Mini Belly to attack with Leopold, he's already hitting for 35k. Such a great card to include in the deck. And then lastly, I play 3 Scaled Toucan. This card has saved me multiple times, because his skills, when he's placed from hand, you Soul Blast 1 and return one of your rear guards to your hand. So, in conjunction with Affiliated Lemur, let's say you call Affiliated Lemur first and you mill a card, and then you countercharge. You call this bad boy, you bounce the Affiliated Lemur, and then you can call him again, giving you 2 countercharges in a 2-card combo. And he also, if a card is discarded from his deck, he also gains 5,000, which means he's also an alternative to Mini Belly. So, a great addition to the deck in my opinion. I run him at 3, obviously. Alright, now for the grade 0s. I play 4 Cable Sheep. This card is great. You need draw triggers in the deck to also search for your pieces just in case you don't get enough of everything. So, and he's also a perfect card. What can you not like about a perfect card? Always can save you in the times you need him. I play 7 fronts, so I play 2 Alarm Chicken, 2 Crushing Chinchilla, and 3 Castanet Donkey. It doesn't really matter which ones you play, it just depends on what cards you like and what your favorite art style is. I just play this because it increases the maximum amount of fronts in your deck, which you desperately need. Because if your numbers are not hitting enough, then you need to get fronts in order to increase their power. I can't tell you how many times I was saved by hitting 2 fronts during a drive check, and it obliterated my opponent because they couldn't do anything about it. And I also got crushed when I was playing the mirror match because my opponent was hitting front trigger after front trigger, and I couldn't survive it. The fronts are a necessary part of the deck. And then finally, I play 1 critical trigger. It may seem weird why I'm playing 1 critical trigger, but hear me out. So, once you reveal this critical from your deck, your opponent knows that you're playing crits. So, when you attack with your Vanguard, they have to assume that you're playing more than 1 crit in your deck. And they have to guard Leopold's attack in order to make sure they can guard the rest. Even though you're just fooling them and you're saying, oh, I have 1, but the rest of my deck are fronts. They don't know that. So, they can just guard Leopold's attack, and then all your other rear guards can swing in for a game. Absolutely great. I love this deck so much. And there it is. That's my deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed.